Hey, Kelsey Toner here from Guest Focus. Welcome back to our series on how to write tour descriptions that sell. In this video, we're going to be covering the name of your tour activity or experience, the hook or bold promise, and 3, the call to action. These are 3 of the most important things, partially because they're right at the top of the page. These are going to be some of the first things that your visitor should encounter when they visit your page. Let's start with the name of your tour. A lot of tour business owners tend to overthink this, and the good news is the name doesn't matter all that much, but there are some best practices, and if you can follow them, we recommend that you do it. The first is to choose very simple, clear, descriptive language for the name of your tour. An example like Vancouver Brewery Tour. That's very clear to someone who arrives on that page what this page is about and also what this tour is about. You're also going to benefit from some search engine optimization because those are keywords very likely that someone would type into Google. Now, if you're in a crowded marketplace where there's a lot of tours already, there's a good chance that you're not going to be able to follow that simple formula. Either there are other tours with that name, or potentially there are other tours that come along that copycat you if you have that name. That's when we can be a little bit creative. Yes, you can change the name of your tour. If that's the case, keep in mind that if the name of your tour is not have those keywords in it, we can include those keywords elsewhere on the page or in the subheader or bold promise, right? So don't get too stressed out if you don't have those keywords in the name of your tour. Let's pull a couple up and have a look. Let's have a look at an online reseller of tours, Viator, to have a look at some of these tour names. Here's Alcatraz with San Francisco Bay Cruise. If we scroll down, Muir Woods and Sausalito half-day tour. Napa and Sonoma Wine Country, a full-day tour from San Francisco. These are very simple and descriptive tour names. You can see here that many resellers will have a limit to the number of words you can use in your title. So this range of 5 to 12 words is a good guideline. But what if we can't be super descriptive and we want to be a little bit more creative? Well, here's an example from Walks of Italy. The Best of Pompeii Tour, Unveiling the Buried City. I love that name. I also love Devour Tours. If we scroll down and have a look at some of their food tours in Barcelona. Barcelona Tapas, Taverns and History Tour. And you can notice here their subheadline or what we will call bold promise, as you'll see in a second, gives a little more context to the tour. Learn Barcelona's history while trying the city's classic tapas and discover why you can't have one without the other. That is a great little combo with a less descriptive tour name. Tastes and Traditions of Barcelona Food Tour. Here you have a bit of a combination of both. I love this keyword, Barcelona Food Tour, but Tastes and Traditions adds a little uniqueness. Barcelona Gourmet Tapas and Wine Tasting Tour. The name of your tour is most often the title of your tour page. It's that first largest text that you're going to see. The next text that someone should read is something that we call a bold promise. You can also call this a hook. Some people refer to it as a headline, but basically we're trying to hook the reader's attention and encourage them to read down the page. Headlines are very common in online articles, magazines, newspapers. We understand this. We have a very short window of time to get people's attention and get them curious enough to keep reading down the page. Many tour descriptions simply lead with their name, which can be very descriptive, but we don't get our hooks into people. And a lot of people bounce or leave the tour description page because we don't have an effective hook. Let's look at an example. Here is a bike tour, West Asheville River Arts District e-bike tour. That is their very descriptive title, but we're missing this bold promise. So what could we do in terms of a subheadline or some text that will hook the reader and encourage them to read more down the page? Well, there's a few different ways to come at this, but one that we love is called the bold promise framework. And that is, you can use this formula to create a bold promise that is perfect for your ideal target guest. Enjoy biggest desire without biggest pain, even if biggest objection. So if we have a look at the West Asheville River Arts District e-bike tour, this might work for a bold promise. Experience Asheville's vibrant art scene and fresh mountain air without the hassle of traffic and parking, even if it's your first time on an e-bike. After doing a guest deep dive on some of the Flying Bikes customers, we knew that they wanted to experience the arts and the vibrant scene that was happening in Asheville. But they had a lot of issues with downtown Asheville being pretty busy and actually pretty hard to find parking for a small town. And we found that a common objection or concern was, hey, I've never been on an e-bike before. And so you can see how our Bold Promise framework all comes together. Let's look at another example. Sydney Harbor Cruise, brunch on the beach. Pretty descriptive, right? Well, how about we spice this up with a little hook? Enjoy a beautiful morning on the water, a private gourmet brunch, and bottomless mimosas, all without having to organize a single thing. Here, for those private group tours, we know that pain point is organizing, getting all the group together, and we're going to give them the easy button. This should encourage people to keep reading down the page to learn more. Now, you don't always have to use this Bold Promise framework. We can try some other creative solutions. For Rainy Lake fishing tours, let's have a look at their hook. Iconic Canadian fishing trips that are convenient, close, and comfortable. Wow, that's pretty good. I want to read more to go down because a lot of these fishing lodges, you fly into the remote Canadian wilderness, you have a tough time coming up with something that's comfortable. Here's another alternative for Rainy Lake fishing tour. Less time getting here, more time fishing. That's a pretty good hook. What about this one? Iconic Canadian fishing without wasting half of your holiday on travel. All of these will encourage people to scroll down and read more. And one more creative example, here's Destiny Water Adventures, their Crab Island Dolphin Jet Ski Adventure. Right? That is their title. Have a look at their Bold Promise right here. Experience the #1 rated dolphin jet ski tour in Destin, Florida. Hey, that's pretty good, right? Here we're emphasizing their credibility, their reviews that they've gotten. To me, that's a pretty strong hook. I'd want to read down and see what all the fuss is about. Now, it can be hard to come up with a bold promise for your tour. That's part of the reason why we gave you the Bold Promise framework. But another way to think about a hook is simply the most tangible benefit that your tour provides. You may have heard the term a unique value proposition or a unique selling proposition. If you had to clearly communicate the main benefit of your tour in just one sentence, that acts as a great hook. Now, the call to action, which we're going to talk about now, your bold promise, and your headline are the first 3 things that should be visible when someone loads your tour description page. They are above the fold. And what that simply means is when your website loads on a desktop, or on a mobile device, what you see without having to scroll is called above the fold. So we want to make sure your name, your bold promise, and your call to action are all visible without anyone having to scroll. And the CTA, your call to action, is usually a book now button. It should be a distinct color from the rest of your web page. It can match your branding colors, probably should, but we want our eye to be drawn to that button. On the button itself, the text should indicate what the next step is. Book now is a great choice. Buy tickets. Check availability. Can work. But usually, this is associated with starting and moving into the checkout phase. That is our main goal. Everything we're doing on this page is encouraging people to click that call to action and to increase the chance of conversion and to make it clear to people what the next step is. That should appear above the fold. You see this book now button is bright, it's distinct, and our eye is drawn there. As we move down the page, it's going to float and be visible at all times. But what I want to draw your attention to is that it is visible right away. Same thing if we go over here to Vancouver Water Adventures. This is the page loading without me scrolling at all. I can see that book now button. So in most cases, your call to action button will initiate your booking software. They'll begin the checkout process where they can add their personal information, maybe click on some upsells, and ultimately give you their payment information. If you have a longer sales cycle or a different next step for people to take, you can, of course, update and use a different call to action. However, we'd still recommend using this button format. If you'd like a copy of the workbook that our coaching members receive for creating irresistible tour descriptions, you can go to guestfocus.com/tour descriptions and we'll hook you up with one free of charge. If you found some value in this video, we got a whole bunch more coming your way. Feel free to share this with a friend or colleague. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, and ring that notifications bell. It all helps our channel. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.